And a good morning to you on a Hump Day Wednesday. Eric Granstrom with you here on the NCW Life Channel's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this 13th day of February 2019. Hope you had a good Tuesday and ready for the Wednesday, because starting at noon, it's downhill slide towards the weekend. So all things are shaping up. Weather-wise, things are shaping up a little bit better today than what we had the last couple of days, that's for sure. We'll talk about your forecast coming up, also see what's happening in the mountain passes, and still inclement weather up there if you need to travel between the west side of the mountains and here to the east side, or back and forth, you know what I mean. Also coming up later on this morning here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we'll be joined by royalty in the house. Yes, we will have the new Royal Court for the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival joining us right here on this very program. That's coming up. First, we'll start things out with our Valley View cameras this morning, as we are lucky enough to have access to these cameras thanks to Localtel's Sky-Fi wireless network. And to camera one we go. And here we are looking down upon the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera. Nice cloudy day, gray, white. Yeah, that's pretty much what we've had and what we'll have for probably the rest of February and into March before we get out of this trend. Overcast today and looking at a slight chance of some sunshine later on today. Won't that be nice? That's camera one this morning. Camera two we go to say good morning to the folks in Cashmere. This is our Apple Annie's camera, that is, thanks to the Skyfire Wireless Network in Localtel. A little bit of a morning commute on Highway 2 coming in. Road crews have been just working feverishly to keep on top of the snowy conditions and icy conditions. By the way, I was traveling in this morning, and they had put down some of the de-icer again. And boy, right after they applied the de-icer, especially on some corners, be careful. That tends to be a little bit slick. I know it's supposed to be a de-icer, but it can be slippery here as you get through your morning commute. To camera three we go on the Skyfire Wireless Network provided by Localtel. And we say good morning to the lovely town of Rock Island. As you see the Rock Island ponds in the foreground there, they're busy dredging rock out of there, it seems, all year round. So I don't think those ponds have a chance to freeze because of the rock dredging that happens. You see the Columbia River snaking through on the left hand of your screen there. A quiet, snowy morning in Rock Island, Washington. And to camera four we go. And here we are. I have no, is this Omi Gardens? Is that what that is? Omi Gardens. You could just barely see, maybe down to Stamilt in the lower part of your screen, a hint of the Columbia River. Otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much what you have as far as the clouds and the fog here this morning. However, as we take a look at the forecast here for the Wenatchee Valley in north central Washington, actually not too bad here for the area. Today, anyway, our forecast is calling for some sunshine. If we can break away the cloud cover and fog cover this morning, high temperatures expected to be around 33 balmy degrees today. Wow, wouldn't that be a switch from what we've had? The low tonight getting down to about 17 degrees. Looking at the extended forecast as we head into tomorrow, more clouds coming in with, yes, another chance of snow. Right now, the National Weather Service is not saying as far as, okay, here's what to bear down and look for, but they are saying pretty good chance of snow coming back into our window of weather tomorrow. 31 for the high on Thursday. As we look in towards the weekend, clouds, slight chance of snow on Friday with a high at 34. Yes, warming up. Nighttime lows in the 20s. Cloudy sky, maybe a little rain or snow in the morning on Saturday, otherwise mostly cloudy. 32 for the high on Saturday, 30 Sunday with dry conditions, and then we'll get back into the cold temperatures again day and night beginning next week with some clear skies. Temperatures highs in the 60s, nighttime lows getting down into the teens. The official high for the day yesterday in Wenatchee was 22 degrees, the low 16. The record high for today set a couple of different dates in 2011 and 15 of 59 degrees. I was just looking at a friend's Facebook page yesterday saying 4 years ago yesterday, Cashmere schools were having PE outside. The grass was growing on the football field. It was a strange occurrence 4 years ago. The record low temperature, 16 degrees, set in 1989. So we're probably going to be around that record low temperature, as a matter of fact. Our sunlight or sunrise this morning coming up just a few minutes at 7:09. Sunset tonight at 5:21. Now, as far as the mountain passes are concerned this morning, this is where you're going to run into a situation of bad conditions up in the mountain passes. I-90 Snoqualmie Pass is still closed, folks. It will remain closed in both directions. They're going to say a reassessment at 9 o'clock this morning as far as reopening. Drifting snow and avalanche conditions exist on Snoqualmie Pass, so it is still closed as of today. It's been closed for the last 24 hours plus, and again, they're going to reassess that at 9 o'clock this morning. Currently 14 degrees and snowing and drifting snow at the summit of Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens Pass, not much better, folks. We've got change required on all vehicles except all-wheel drive. That is both directions with compact snow and ice on the roadway. They're going to do some avalanche control work coming up in less than an hour from now at 8 o'clock. Eastbound traffic will be stopped at milepost 70. Westbound traffic stopped at milepost 72. Avalanche control work takes anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours to complete. So that will close the secondary pass, and our major passes here in Washington closed this morning for a short time. Again, that's starting at 8 o'clock this morning with some avalanche control work. Currently 22 degrees and snowing lightly at the summit of Stevens Pass. Blewett Pass this morning is a traction requirement. That means change required for the big rigs. Compact snow and ice on the roadway there, overcast skies, and make that 8 degrees at the summit of Blewett Pass. So again, if you can curtail your travel plans in the higher elevations, if you're needing to get to the west side and maybe put that off for another day, it might be a good idea, especially with the pass closures. I-90 Snoqualmie still closed and might be closed for most of the day again today. Stevens Pass going to close for avalanche control work coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. We'll talk more about the weather and what it means for schools coming up with news. Also, we have some lecture returns from yesterday. That's all coming up as we continue on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this Wednesday, the 13th of February, 2019. We'll come back with your latest local news on the way next.
I got into medicine because I love it. I have always had this love of the ideal of the family medical provider. I really, really enjoy those kind of visits where it's not a specific problem so much as it is talking about ways to live a healthier, happier life. I'm excited to play a role in the health and wellness of everyone in the Wenatchee Valley. I look forward to seeing you at CBCH.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
18 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley under overcast skies, hoping for some sunshine today before the snows return tomorrow. Eric Granstrom filling in for Dan Kuntz on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and let's take a look at your latest local news. It was another day of hazardous travel conditions in north central Washington as motorists deal with snow and icy roads. This was the scene of a wreck involving a fully loaded semi that rolled over on White Trail Road outside of Quincy yesterday. Freight mobility was a challenge for truckers traveling over the Cascades on Tuesday with the closure of I-90 Snoqualmie Pass and US 2 Tumwater Canyon. The Snoqualmie Pass remains closed this morning until 9 o'clock at the earliest. Stevens Pass, including a stretch of road between Leavenworth and Coles Corner, has reopened, but chains are required this morning. I-90 Snoqualmie Pass Monday night resulted in numerous spinouts and crashes. One of the accidents resulted in the death about 2 miles east of the summit. According to the State Patrol troopers, the driver of a big rig was killed when he crashed his Freightliner truck into a median barrier after suffering a medical episode. The driver, whose name is being withheld until family notification, was from Missoula, Montana. Well, a car caught fire as the driver was attempting up the hill on Orondo Street in downtown Wenatchee Tuesday afternoon. Nobody was injured, and the car was later loaded onto a flatbed and taken away. Witnesses said it appeared the car overheated trying to climb the snow-covered hill, but Chelan County Fire District officials say they do not have an official cause. Well, voters overwhelmingly approved special elections levies in Chelan and Douglas counties. The results from last night's vote count has school levies in Manson and Waterville passing with over 60% approval. The measures only require a simple majority to pass. Elsewhere in Leavenworth, a tax levy to pay for continuing EMS services in the Cascade Hospital District is also passing with 70% voter approval. We will post the results on our website. In fact, I think Steve Hare was working on that this morning, so you can go to ncwlife.com to read more about that. Well, they're not saying who they are yet, but the Wenatchee School Board has 3 finalists for its superintendent job. District Communications Director Diana Hagelin said each of the candidates' names will be released the day prior to their appearances at public forums next week. Board President Sonny Hemphill said, quote, "The finalists chosen are all incredible," unquote. The person hired will replace Brian Flonis, who is retiring. The public forums will be held February 19th, 20th, and 21st from 3:30 to 5 p.m. at Wenatchee High School. Well, though Wenatchee School Board President Sonny Hemphill, said last week the legislature is to blame for the district's $5.2 million budget shortfall, 12th District State Senator Brad Hawkins said that isn't necessarily fair. Hawkins spoke with NCW Life yesterday morning, saying the state school funding formula created last year was designed to be equitable to all districts while easing the tax burden on property owners.
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily fair to, because of the legislature's change, to say that that's why Wenatchee School District needs to reduce its funding by $5 million. I mean, like I said, back in 2012, the funding per student was about $8,000 state and local. Now state and local, even with the reforms, is going to be over $12,000 per student. So I think the realities for some of the school districts, not so much just to focus on Wenatchee, but for many of the school districts, the state has been providing significant additional funding. But their school district expenditures have outpaced their revenues, even despite their revenues significantly increasing. So then it becomes a question of how much of that is the state's responsibility and how much of it is the local responsibility. If school districts are choosing to invest so significantly their extra funding into their staff compensation, they need to make sure that the agreements, the collective bargaining agreements that they've entered into, are ones that they can sustain. And if they choose to make so many investments in those things or other programs, then they might need to make some reductions in some other areas.
While the city limits of Cashmere have not moved in a while, the community around Cashmere continues to grow. This has left city fathers with the challenge of planning for the little town's future. Mayor Jim Fletcher was a guest with us yesterday on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to discuss a recent workshop.
We broke into small groups, had conversations around, well, what is it about Cashmere's future that we're trying to work towards? What do we want to see change? How are we going to handle this growth that's going around us? And try to get ahead of this a little bit rather than reacting to it. And the things that still came out is the quality of town is that you can get around, you can walk, you feel safe, you feel like you know people in town. You walk into a store, you're generally going to see people that you know in those stores. A cohesiveness that just feels like, a small town.
Of particular concern for Fletcher and the city is the upcoming replacement project of the Goodwin Bridge that will leave Cashmere with one way in and out.
If there's an emergency, how do they get across the tracks when there's a train blocking them? And so we've been looking at putting a satellite aid car on the south side of the tracks, maybe at the city shops, just in case. So we have a backup aid car. It's not that it happens every hour. Well, it does happen quite frequently, but when there's an emergency, you want to have an alternative to get there, a way of getting that aid car to where it needs to be. Long term, that might even be, something more of a fire truck or something parked on the south side. That's the first issue, take care of the emergencies. The second one is, we have to encourage more patience, because it is going to be everybody on Division Street heading out to the highway some way. There aren't only so many ways there. We're going to have patience. We're working on how can we deal with that, how can we encourage other alternatives, but there are physically not too many choices.
You can see the entire interview on our website at ncwlife.com under the Watch on Demand category for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Well, Wenatchee High School co-ed has been accepted into the prestigious Bolshoi Ballet School. Blythe Wittig has been a member of the Fabulous Feet Dance Studio since the age of 3. She is also the niece of our own Uriah Darby, who produced a video of his niece to help raise money needed for admission into the Bolshoi program.
Hi, my name is Blythe Wittig, and I am from Wenatchee, Washington. I grew up here my whole life, and I am a Running Start student at Wenatchee High School, and I have danced here since I was 3 years old. At first, I only did basic styles, and the last few years I've taken very much a liking to ballet, and I feel like it is my passion. It is my purpose. I love to dance.
Blythe started dancing with us when she was 3 years old. She was very good right from the start. Her mom will remember me telling her about Blythe's beautiful feet and to always make sure she danced wherever she went in life. And she's excelled and always worked hard and always had a really good attitude about dance. So it's really awesome that all of that hard work is paying off and that she's been accepted into the Bolshoi summer program.
I first met Blythe, 3 years ago when I came in as a guest choreographer for a show, and she struck me right away as somebody that was very talented and very dedicated.
Blythe has reached a level that many students never get to, but she's every summer worked hard and been accepted into one program after the next, each one this much better, this much better. She's went to nationals, won overalls there, been to New York. So she's really, really done her hard work. And that's why it's so awesome to see her reap the benefits. So she making it into the Bolshoi, that's just top 4 companies in the world. You would never think of a little girl from Wenatchee making it that far. But she's done it, and well, she's just an amazing, amazing dancer and person. Just a really great person, and I think that's why good things are coming her way as well, because of her good attitude and her positive way of looking at things.
Blythe she just never backs down from something that may be new or intimidating. She just goes for it, which I think is how she ended up in the situation she's in right now. She was so humble going into the audition for Bolshoi, thinking, oh, I'm just gonna go for the experience, and little did she know she got accepted, which, as a teacher also makes you feel really proud. And to know that we've given her the tools to get that far and do those things, and to know how well she succeeded last summer in Houston and other intensives around here.
And Blythe has fundraised and worked her way through most of the things she's done. The price tag to study with the Bolshoi, I mean, top 4 in the world, you can only imagine. So I know that we've set up a GoFundMe for Blythe, and I know she's got a goal of raising pretty close to $9,000, I think it is. And she's maybe about a quarter of the way there, but we're hoping that members of the community will get behind her and support her, because she'll represent us so well one day, and she's well worth the investment. And so there's a GoFundMe, or you can always just check with us at the studio at Fabulous Feet Dance Studio. We can point you in the right direction if you want to help out Blythe on her summer trip.
And we wish her the best of luck in that effort to attend the Bolshoi Ballet. How about that? 19 past the hour here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for a Wednesday hump day on the banks of the river. Coming up a little bit later on, we have royalty in the house. We will have the brand new Washington State Apple Blossom Festival royalty join us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, so looking forward to that. Also, Mike McNaughty with his opinion. We'll get sports news on the way, and of course a look at this day in history. And the obscure holiday today actually touches me very dearly. Now, I wanted to do this real quick, and Megan will go to this camera showing the car I've got on the desk here, because This is something that has been occurring a lot, especially in East Wenatchee. Now, my T-shirt here represents the lanes of travel in East Wenatchee on Grant Road, and of course this is the berm down the center that has been stacked up because of the snowstorm. Now, what you talk about when you talk about vehicles is you talk about point of contact, all right? So what you have is 4 points of contact on the bottom of your car. Those are your tires. And in order for you to move, the tires have to have friction. That means when they go down the road normally, you have friction that creates the ability for your car to move, and that's caused by the tire on the road. That's the point of contact. You see this other surface area here? This is also a possible point of contact, especially if you're going down Grant Road and you decide that you're going to come over the berm. See what happens? You lose your point of contact for your tires is what actually moves your vehicle, and now you're stuck on that big giant point of contact called the bottom of your car. And it doesn't matter what kind of tires you have, it doesn't matter if you have a four-wheel drive or not. If you try to drive up over that berm and you lose your point of contact on the driving wheels, you're going nowhere fast. So, just a public service from me to you. Don't try to get over the top of the berms. You're going to lose your point of contact, and then you are stuck. All right? We'll take a break. Sports news coming up next is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for a Wednesday, the 13th of February. Back right after this.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color Effects in Cashmere. Color Effects offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere. So when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now or visit localtel.net to learn more.
22 minutes past the hour, we're at 18 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley. Man, that's like 5-6 degrees warmer than what we had earlier in the week. Feels balmy, almost time to take some clothes off. No, we won't do that. We will instead look at sports news here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Due to the snow and bad road conditions, the first round of the Central 1B District Tournament at Ephrata High School was postponed last night and will be played tonight instead. The Entiat girls will face Moses Lake Christian at 6 o'clock. If they win, they'll face the winner of Pateros and Riverside Christian tomorrow for the District 6 championship. A loss would mean a 3 o'clock game against the loser of Pateros and Riverside Christian. Entiat boys have a date with Riverside Christian tonight at 7:30. A win puts the Tigers into the championship tomorrow at 7:30 against the winner of Pateros and Moses Lake Christian. A loss means they'll play the loser of Pateros and Moses Lake Christian at 4:30. Now we have a little bit breather from the winter snowstorms. We can finally get the play-in games for the Big Nine. On the girls' side, Eastmont is at Davis at 4 o'clock, while Eisenhower plays at West Valley at 6. Winners advance to play Friday at either Sunnyside or Moses Lake. On the boys' side of the Big Nine district play-in games, you have Eastmont playing at Davis at 6 o'clock, while Eisenhower plays at Moses Lake. The winners advance to Friday's first round of the district tournament at either West Valley or Wenatchee. Whomever Wenatchee plays, we will have that live here on the NCW Life Channel Friday night. The District 6 1A tournament wraps up tonight at Brewster High School. Okanagan and Omak girls play a loser-out game at 6. And then that's followed by the Okanagan and Omak boys at 7:30. Of course, you see Cashmere will be home on either Friday or Saturday. We heard from the athletic director at Cashmere yesterday. Jeff told us that it all determines on what happens tonight in the Northeast A to determine whom the Wenatchee or whom Cashmere will play, and it could be either Friday or Saturday for the boys and girls, depending on if it's the same school, for example, that Cashmere faces. So say it is Lakeside, and then the Lakeside boys are home, Lakeside girls are on the road. They don't want to have the fans having to do too much travel, and so they're going to separate that. Does that make any sense? So it's either Friday or Saturday or all on Saturday. We won't know until after tonight. We can clear that all up tomorrow for Cashmere fans. Well, we know now about the 32-man brackets for MAC Classic at the Tacoma Dome this weekend. They're going to start things awfully early in the day on Friday because of the Wild and Wacky tournament. This is the biggest wrestling tournament, high school wrestling tournament in the country, by the way, as far as numbers. And now they've doubled that with a 32-man bracket. So here's what we have as far as local wrestlers in the 4A tournament. I'm going to read right off my list here. We'll get this posted on our website a little bit later on. Adrian Vivanco at 138 pounds for Eastmont. Eastmont Cesar Citio at 145 and Landon McClune at 152. Wenatchee's Jason Briley and Jordan Velasquez at 160. Wenatchee's Orlando Rodriguez at 170. And Eastmont's Max Prazer and Wenatchee's Lucas Carranza at 220 pounds. As far as the 1A tournament is concerned, there's quite a list. So here we go. Cashmere's Eric Rodriguez and Cascades Juan Martinez at 106 pounds. At 113, it's Cashmere's Miles Chapman and Cascades Alex Martinez. Cascades Jesus Sandoval and Manuel Camarena at 120 pounds. Cashmere's Aaron Guerrero, Chelan's James Austin, and Cascades Daniel Sandoval at 126. Chelan's Jose Mercado, Cascades Jay Seeley, and Cashmere's Blake Brown at 132. At 138 pounds, it's Chelan's Carlos Venegas and Cascades Austin Curry and Adrian Arcio. At Cashmere's Waylon Gillikin and Cascades DeAndre Vasquez at 145 pounds. Chelan's Sky Malone, Cashmere's Baz Lloyd and Duke Odenreiter at 152 pounds. Cascades Cole Warman and Efren Guerrero and Chelan's Eric Alcala all at 160. At 170 pounds is Cascades Jose Valdez, Cascades Eric Rosario, and Chelan's Angel Mendoza at 182. Chelan's Adrian Martinez at 220 and Cascades Hunter Reinhardt at 285. That's the 1A tournament. Girls also, Wenatchee's Kelsey Ibarra at 105 pounds. Eastmont's Cheyenne Chang also at 105. At 125, it's Eastmont's Giselle Keene. Wenatchee's Isabel Andrini at 130 and Eastmont's Carissa Miller at 135. Again, we'll get the rest of that all up on our website a little bit later on today on ncwlife.com. Did you get all that? 27 minutes past the hour, 18 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley. Closure of I-90 Snoqualmie Pass this morning. Also, they're going to close Stevens Pass for avalanche control work coming up at 8 o'clock, about a half hour from now. So no way, unless you go all the way down to White Pass, to get across the Cascades this morning. All right, it is the 13th of February. Today is our obscure holiday, World Radio Day. Not so obscure, really. World Radio Day, an observance held annually on the 13th of February to celebrate radio as a medium. It was proclaimed on November 3rd, 2011 by UNESCO's 36th General Conference. This is a UN thing that was sanctioned, originally being proposed as the Kingdom of Spain. It was Spain that originally said, hey, we should have World Radio Day. So the UN says, yeah, let's do that. And it began the first time around in 2012. They started having themes in 2014. The first was gender equality and women's empowerment in radio. In 2015, the theme was youth and radio. 2016, Radio of Times of Emergency and Disaster. The 2017 theme was Radio Is You. And then Radio and Sports in 2018. Now this year's theme is Dialogue, Tolerance, and Peace. I would not be sitting here if it hadn't been for a development of my love for radio. When I was a kid, I used to drive my brother and sister nuts. We shared a bedroom together in this little house in Cedar Woolley, Washington, and I fell in love with radio. I did chores around the house to earn extra money to buy batteries for my little transistor that I put under the pillow at night so I could listen to anything I possibly could, especially AM stations that came in at night that you couldn't get during the daytime. I would listen to those radio stations, and of course, I fell in love with sports on the radio, listening to Bob Blackburn do the Sonics and Pete Gross do the Seahawks, and of course Dave Niehaus doing the Mariner games. And it was amazing to me that I could listen to this and I could see everything that was happening. It created a theater in my mind. I fell in love with the craft of radio. I went to school for radio. I got into radio in 1990, and now 30 years later, here I am in TV. I don't know how that happened on the last twist of this whole thing because I have the perfect face for radio. But yeah, anyway, National or World Radio Day today here for this 13th of February. Take a look at this day in history. Galileo. The Inquisition of Galileo began in 1633. He arrived in Rome for the trial before the Inquisition for professing belief that Earth revolves around the sun. Galileo officially faced the Roman Inquisition in April of that same year and agreed to plead guilty in exchange for a lighter sentence. Now, his lighter sentence, this is just because of his belief that flew in the face of the church Now, that's how powerful the church was back in the 1600s. He was sentenced indefinitely by the Pope Urban VIII to spend the rest of his days at his house. Well, his house was a villa, so it was kind of a big house. But near Florence, he stayed there the rest of his life until he died. Just because he believed that, no, this whole thing about Earth being the center of the universe, I don't think so. If you kind of watch the sky at night and it's during the day, it doesn't work out so well. Galileo faced the Inquisition beginning on this date in 1633. 1866, Jesse James, the infamous Jesse James, began his string of bad deeds. Actually, it began before that, but on this date, he held up a bank stealing $15,000. Imagine that. It was 1866. He stole 15 grand from the Clay County Savings Association in Liberty, Missouri. An American outlaw, bank and train robber, guerrilla, and leader of the James Younger gang, Jesse was raised in the Little Dixie area of western Missouri. James and his family maintained strong Southern sympathies. He and his brother Frank joined the pro-Confederate guerrillas known as Bushwhackers, operating in Missouri and Kansas during the American Civil War as followers of William Quantrill and Bloody Bill Anderson. They were accused of participating in atrocities against the Union soldiers. And then after the war, he decided to stick to his life of crime, holding up banks. He gained national fame and often popular sympathy despite the brutality of his crimes. Of course, Jesse James' run came to an end when he was shot by Robert Ford, who was a new member of the gang and thought that he would cash in on the bounty on Jesse James. He began his string of terror, if you will, on this date in 1866. Also in 2000, kind of a sad day for Peanuts fans. The Peanuts comic strip appeared in the newspaper one day after Charles M. Schulz passed away. On this date in 2000, Peanuts among the most popular and influential history of comic strips. Get this, 17,897 strips published in the history of the Peanuts. From the 1960s, Peanuts ran over 2,600 newspapers with readership about 355 million in 75 countries. It was translated in 21 languages. It helped cement a 4-panel gag strip as the standard for the U.S., and together with its merchandise, earned Schulz more than $1 million. The final Peanuts ran on this date in 2000. We miss Charles M. Schulz. Snoopy, Woodstock, Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, the whole gang, Peanuts. Okay, celebrating birthdays today, we have people that are alive that we're celebrating their birthdays. Jerry Springer, Jerry Springer, 74 today. Gerald Norman Springer, he was born actually in England, lawyer, politician, news presenter, actor. I didn't know he was a musician. It says in his bio that he's a musician. Of course, he began the Jerry Springer Show in 1991. That ran until last year. Did you know that Jerry's going to be a judge on TV now? Yeah, it's the Judge Jerry Show that's premiering this fall. Look out for that. Also celebrating, oh, by the way, Jerry Springer's 74 today. Also celebrating birthday, Peter Gabriel, the singer. That's what he looks like now. He looked a lot different back in the day. He's 68 today. Peter Gabriel was the original lead man for Genesis. Of course, he decided to leave, go on a solo career, did very well with that. Genesis was looking for a new band leader. It eventually became the drummer, Phil Collins, that would take over the lead of Genesis. Here's what Peter Gabriel looks like, or looked like back in the day. You might recognize that one. Of course, Salisbury Hill, the first single, 1986, So, is the best-selling release and certified triple platinum in the UK and 5 times platinum in the US. In the 80s, he won 9 MTV Awards and the 1987 MTV Video Music Award with Sledgehammer. That was a weird video. He had a lot of weird videos, but Peter Gabriel celebrating his birthday today. He is 68 years old today, and I saw this kid play at the Sundome in Yakima. I was privileged enough to see Luke Ridnour play basketball for the Blaine Borderites back in the day, helping his team win 2 state championships. He went on to prominence at the University of Oregon, was selected by the Seattle Supersonics as their 14th overall pick out of college, and had a pretty good NBA career, although he was made more famous by the fact in 2015 he was traded 4 times in the span of 6 days. He now lives in Linden, about 20 miles from where he grew up, and is retired and happy and raising his 2 boys with his wife and loving life in Linden, Washington. Luke Ridenour celebrating a birthday today. He is 37. That's a look at some of the things that happen on this day as we get through a 13th day of February 2019. If you have a birthday that you'd like to share with us, then you can email us, news@ncwlife.com. You can also get a hold of us through our Facebook page. Just search NCW Life on Facebook. We take those direct messages there, or you can call us too at 888-NCWL. It's 888-6295. We're going to take a break, come back. Mike Magnotti with his opinion straight ahead, and also Royalty will join us, the new 2019 court for the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. The Queen and Two Princesses will grace us with their presence coming up next on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
Antique Mall at Cashmere wishes you a happy and prosperous new year. With 15,000 square feet to explore, Antique Mall at Cashmere has something for everyone. For repurposing projects, do-it-yourselfers, and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, this is the place to find your next project. Antique Mall at Cashmere, their friendly staff is here to help you. Stop on by today.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Put winter weather in its place with a new Cub Cadet snow thrower from Rose Tractor. Hi, this is Corey. Let us help you get through the season with our line of Cub Cadet snow throwers. When it comes to snow, never let winter weather get in your way. The Cub Cadet X Series line of snow throwers offers 3 levels of snow clearing power and a host of award-winning models. Get ahead of the snow. Let us help you get into the right snow thrower for the job. Rose Tractor, family owned and operated, located at the corner of 3rd and Rock Island Road in East Wenatchee.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Paprika mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
There's no substitute for the power of cable TV advertising. With Solion Cable TV advertising, you can reach your target audience right here in North Central Washington. We understand their viewing habits and can precisely target your customers on great cable networks like these. Call Solion Broadcasting today and let us show you how to put your business message right in front of thousands of prospects at a very affordable price. Solion Broadcasting, 509-888-2020.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
And a good morning once again here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley for this, Wednesday, the 13th of February, 2019, and I'm joined by royalty this morning. We have the Queen of Venice Life. We have Princess Olivia Lancaster right here. I'm getting mixed up because you got Anne Elizabeth Popoff, another princess, joining us here for the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. Very nice tops, ladies. Is that one of the first things you got to do is shop?
Yes, we got these tops from JCPenney's. So we went yesterday, 2 days ago? Couple days ago, went shopping, got some dresses from JCPenney's. They spoil us.
So the one thing I want to know, congratulations first of all, again, how different has it been? You've been back to school maybe a little bit, not quite all the way, but how are people treating you? Are they treating you differently now? You got this headwear?
I mean, I wouldn't say I've been treated differently. I've had people in my class bow to me, and I'm like, what are you doing? But I do running starts. I only have one class at the school, and so I haven't seen a lot of my friends. But people are definitely excited for us.
My professors have been super awesome about it. They've been all hugging and congratulating me, so definitely the teachers have been super supportive.
Yeah, I'm the only one who goes full-time to my high school, and so all the teachers, everyone, they do weird things. They act really weird. But I mean, they're all supportive, so it's all in good intentions.
Like weird fun or weird, like kind of creepy weird?
No, it's weird. It's weird fun. It's weird fun. It's weird fun. They'll bow or they'll give us hugs or they'll say your name. They just like say your name. That's all they do, and they give you this funny smile. So it's just like they want to acknowledge that you got this. So it's really cool.
What about your family?
They're excited, that's for sure. A lot of newspapers just posted everywhere and flowers everywhere, but they're super excited. I know all of our parents are really excited for us.
My parents have a box full of like all of our newspapers and everything we've gotten over the course of the kind of the journey with Top 10, and so we've been going through it and being like, oh, remember this when we did this. So it's been really awesome.
My parents just always remind me that even though I'm a princess, I still have to take out the trash and do my chores, clean up my room. My brother's like, he kind of is like, okay, like, can I have something? Like, where are my flowers? But I have to spoil him sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to wonder about sibling rivalry, that type of thing. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, now I'm the golden child, so sorry, Jake. But he's at Wazoo, so I've been the golden child for a while.
My parents have been taking pictures every time I have an event, like the morning after when we went to breakfast. I had my crown on, and I went out and sat on the couch, and my brother's just sitting there. And so my grandma took my crown off my head and put it on top of his head, and we're like, Austin, you're such a pretty princess this morning.
Yeah, my brother's just, I think he's just accepted the fact that it's kind of all about me now. But, I mean, I feel like he has revenge coming my way. Something's going to happen. I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall.
I was wondering about that. I can imagine because, my little sister was the princess without being crowned anything. And it was like, oh, gosh, here we go again. So I want to show a video here. We're going to show the video, and you guys have said you've seen the video from the other night. I wanted to kind of ask you a little bit about this scene right here. I mean, they've already announced the other awards that have been going out. By the way, congratulations. Two of those going to you, Olivia. So what are you thinking when this is happening?
I just couldn't remember where I was supposed to walk, and I was like, wait, that's my name. I was like, that's me. I have to go now. And so I think it was just more of a shock than anything. You want your name to be called, but you don't expect it to be.
Yeah.
Are you feeling bad about the other girls too, that their names weren't called?
I mean, everyone did amazing, and I know that it might get their hopes up a little, but they all are so amazing. And our top 10 girls, they were so sweet and so outgoing, so kind, and I couldn't have asked for a better top 10. And I'm sure they might be a little upset about it, but they all did so great, and they should be so proud of themselves.
I 100% agree with that. And I learned over the course of dancing and everything, it could be a different day, a different hour, different judges, and anyone could have won. So
Yeah. And they all did great.
So, Olivia, you talked about all your parents.
I know. All your parents.
I mean, I was planning on saying my mom, my dad, my family here with me, and all the friends and everyone who's supporting me, but it came out all weird. It was not the best of my talking experiences, but I swear I'm more articulate than that.
Elizabeth, how about you at this moment?
Well, I got nervous at first because I was standing there and it says princess, and I heard Olivia, and it sounds like both of our names sound the same. And so I got my stomach dropped, and I was like, oh, that was my name. Oh, wait, no, it's not. That was Olivia. And then when my name was called, I couldn't stop crying. The tears kept just flowing. I was like, shut him off. But it was amazing.
Well, one thing that you guys don't know probably behind the scenes is we're given the list during intermission. When they determine, they give us the list so that our camera people know who to shoot when it's time. Well, the order of which had you, Elizabeth, being announced a princess first, and then Olivia next. And so our camera, if you watch the footage, our camera is kind of on you, and then we're wigging out to the right because they announced Olivia first. I don't know what happened with the envelopes there, but they got a little mixed up. Now, Savannah, I thought you were going to pass out here.
I thought I was going to pass out too. It was a very emotional experience because I remember growing up, going to these pageants and watching these girls and always being so nervous for them. And so finally it being my turn and being part of royalty and Queen, I couldn't even make out words. Somehow I started talking on stage and doing my thank yous, but it just was all coming out. It was hard to remember because I was so emotional, and I saw my parents and they were screaming and everyone was screaming, and all I remember, it was just a very emotional experience because it meant so much to me.
Did you say everything that you wanted to say, or did you miss something along the way?
I think I said everything I wanted to say. I can't really remember because everything went by so fast, and you just kind of forget when you're talking, and you're so overwhelmed with emotion that you want to say everything, but sometimes you don't hit all the points and thank everyone that you want to thank.
I got to give you a little bit of a hard time about the flowers here. You're holding them like a loaf of bread.
It was graceful, okay?
But I'm sure, though, no matter how many, and what people also probably don't know is that you guys practice this in rehearsal, and they announce your names, and you come out, and they do the whole thing, right?
Yeah, we practiced in our rehearsals, and actually, looking back, every single time we practiced twice. We were all nervous in those practices. In our dress rehearsals, our hands were sweating and we were shaking. I'm like, this isn't even the real thing, but we're all so nervous and so anxious for the real thing. And yeah, what do you guys have to say about it?
Yeah, I think it was when we kind of went on stage for the real thing. I was like, oh wait, this is the real thing? This isn't just a rehearsal? And I think it didn't sink in until right when our names were called that we were actually going to start this journey together.
Yeah, I just think standing out there, I mean, we were standing behind stage and the curtains were still closed and everyone was saying, I love you, like I want the best for everyone, and we were also really supportive. So I think just having that actually happen and having it be us, it was just crazy.
Well, let's come back to us here in the studio, Megan. Thank you for reliving that moment. And now the future. And I want to talk to you guys about that and what's next. As we'll take a quick break and come back with more as we have royalty in the house here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back. Stay right there.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job. I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill. Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
If you're stuck trying to find the perfect beer for you, look no further than Badger Mountain Brewing. We specialize in creating tantalizing craft beers that will soothe any picky taste buds and will satisfy your cravings. Check out everything from our amazing honey blonde that will appease even the most finicky taster, or a delicious frothy stout for dark beer lovers. Experience them all at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Hoping for a little sunshine here in the Wenatchee Valley today with a high temperature getting up into the upper 20s, maybe around 30 degrees. Going to feel balmy compared to where we've been. We're at 18 this morning in the Wenatchee Valley. And again, a closure of I-90 Snoqualmie Pass, closure of Stevens Pass coming up here in about 9 minutes because of avalanche control work. So if you need to travel, maybe just don't. How about that? We're talking off the air here with our Apple Blossom Royalty for 2019, and that was a more interesting conversation than what we had on the air. We have Queen Savannah's Life, Princesses Olivia Lancaster and Elizabeth Popoff joining us here. Talk again about that morning on Saturday that we missed in the conversation because it was a little difficult for you, eh?
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize is we have interviews that morning, and you can see that in like the pamphlet and in our judging. But our interviews that morning are down at the Coast Hotel up at the river top. And I couldn't find my name tag. So my name tag that I have on here, I could not find it at all that morning, and I was freaking out. My parents were freaking out. And I was trying to get ready, and then I get down there, and I'm in Nike tennis shoes. I'm not in my like cute black heels. So I had to call my dad, and he had to bring them down to me. But I was super like stressed, and that did not really help my morning. But I mean, it worked out in the end.
But you told me that you thought because you don't have the name tag, because you're wearing tennis shoes, you just blew it. That's it. The whole thing's over.
I know. I was like, oh well, this is it for Olivia. Like I'm gonna walk into my interview, and I have tennis shoes on that are like old and from like sophomore year. So they've seen some things. But
so not like new Nikes. These are like old ready. Okay.
They were like my old ones that I didn't care if they got snow and like gravel on. I was just wearing them.
Yeah, speaking of the snow, I mean, here we have that huge snowstorm. How did that impact you guys getting ready for Saturday morning?
I would just say you'd have to take longer to drive, but something going off of Olivia, all the malfunctions that people don't see backstage or in the morning, for example, the entire pageant night, both my heels did not fit, so I was stuffing them with toilet paper the entire time and having to walk out elegantly, and no one notices that. But yeah, the snow, I don't know if I would say it affected the morning really, just walking into the hotel without slipping, and I almost fell too, and just leaving early from your house and driving safe.
I pulled into the coast. I was feeling good that morning, and I was looking at Olivia, and I was waving. I was like, "Hi, Olivia," and I ran over a curb in the Coast Hotel. And I was like, "Well, I'm a park now." I was super excited to be there that morning, and the snow didn't stop me. So, and Olivia had a couple malfunctions too. So I ran over a curb, and Olivia forgot her shoes. So.
Well, maybe that's the key. You talk to the top 10 next year. You say, have a bad morning on the morning of your interviews and the morning of pageant, and everything's going to go just great.
No, I don't wish that on anyone. No.
Yeah, a little more stress than you need, eh?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what's next. Of course, the big thing of this week is right here, being on TV on the show. But
for sure.
Yeah, right. What's next?
I would say we have more shopping to do. We're going to Collins and Macy's, Fred Meyer's today. And we have a lot of different events. We have a luncheon that we're going to on Friday, and so we're super excited about that. And something that I'm personally looking forward to is going to the elementary schools to meet with the kids. And we have a Dr. Seuss reading at Columbia Elementary, and I'm really
Ooh, what you're going to read? Do you know your book you're going to read yet?
I'm assuming Dr. Seuss books. I'm not quite sure. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, I was thinking what Dr. Seuss, because All the Places You Go is my favorite Dr. Seuss book.
I like Green Eggs and Ham.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know what books we're reading yet. We'll see. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah, I'm very excited to do the Special Olympic opening ceremonies. That's something I've kind of gone to throughout the years with dance, but I'm excited to kind of take on a new role and open the wonderful event that is.
And I'm excited to tour more of our packing fruit facilities. We're going to go to Semelt here soon. And we already went to Columbia Fruit, and so just seeing more is really cool.
Now, wait a minute, your dad's in that whole world, so that's like old hat for you, isn't it?
It is, but it's cool to go to different places. You see different things, and it's kind of cool to know. Like, as they start talking about all the stuff there, it's kind of cool to be like, oh, I kind of knew that. Like, that's so, like, it's cool to kind of, like, reassure yourself that you know what's going on.
Is your dad telling you, okay, now you're going into the competitor's place, so let's get some inside information?
No, he doesn't tell me that, but he'll prep me. He'll be like, you have, like, make sure you know this, and he'll tell me who's there. Like, when we went to Columbia, Mike Wade was there, and so he's like, I worked with him. And so he kind of prepares me on everyone we're going to meet and make sure I don't make a fool of myself.
Now, what's interesting, too, is we're getting close on the end of the show here, but you guys have been hanging out for a long time. Like, you played soccer together or something?
Yeah, so Olivia and I actually grew up, and we went to Sunny Slope Elementary. We played soccer together, and my dad coached us in soccer, and we grew up in middle school at Foothills. And
I didn't go to Foothills.
Oh, Pioneer. I feel like she went.
I went to a different middle school, but yeah, we grew up.
Yeah, and her cousin was my best friend growing up also, and so she lived in Orondo. My best friend lived in Orondo, and I remember we'd play in the orchards out in Orondo and go on the little, what's it called, Kubotas?
Yeah,
Kubotas, and that was a lot of fun. Play in the water, go in the river, and her aunt has a swing that goes over the river, and so I remember we would always, there was a barbecue once, and we always would hang out and go on the swing.
Now, Elizabeth, you said that all of your families actually sat close to each other during pageant Saturday night.
I think my parents sat in front, Savannah's parents were in the back, and I think Olivia's were next to my parents. And so once our names got called, all the parents were just going nutso, and it was one after another after another. It was like a big triangle. High-fiving. Yeah, high-fiving.
So is it required that you have to wear the crowns everywhere you go now, or what is the requirement there?
There's some things we do not wear the crowns to, but I'd say the majority of events we go to and out and about things we wear our crowns.
Breakfast at home, you're wearing the crown.
Oh. When we sleep, we wear our crowns. In the shower, we wear our crowns everywhere. There's no break.
Now, wait a minute. One of the things that you have coming up, too, I know, is a visit to the legislature, right?
Yes. We have a visit to the legislature. I think it got pushed back a few weeks, so we're really excited about that, get some more preparation, and we're excited to go.
So are you guys asked to sing at all and do any? I know you're the drum major, so you should be right there with the music, right?
I'm there for the music, but I can't sing. I'm kind of tone deaf. I can tell you when you're wrong. Elizabeth is our singer.
Yeah, she's our sing. Yeah, when I was super young, I was put in voice lessons. My parents made me sing up in Cashmere and do voice lessons, but I quit. But I'm a shower singer now, but it looks like I'm gonna be an apple blossom singer now too.
Yeah, we have a really good idea. We don't want to share it yet, but it's really good, and it ties with the theme this year of The Party Never Ends, so we're working on it.
Breaking news right here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Well, ladies, again, congratulations. I know you're going to have a blast with this, and you've got two great chaperones to help you through this entire endeavor. Have a great year.
You too. We're excited. We're really excited. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Queen Savannah Slife and Princesses Olivia Lancaster and Elizabeth Popoff joining us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. And you can follow their activities through the Apple Blossom Facebook page. They're putting up pictures everywhere. You can't go without seeing these lovely faces, and we appreciate them taking the time to join us here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley as we're looking at a sunny Wednesday, maybe, if we could break through the cloud cover up into the low 30s, possibly for a high today. We're at 18 degrees right now. And again, a reminder coming up on a closure of Stevens Pass because of avalanche conditions there. They're going to be doing that for up 30 minutes up to 2 hours on Stevens Pass. Snoqualmie, they're going to reevaluate coming up at 9 o'clock this morning to determine if it's safe for travel. So getting east and west, it's probably good that you guys had that visit to the legislature postponed until we get to better weather. That is for sure. Join us again tomorrow morning on another edition edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and have a grand Wednesday. Downhill Slide starts at noon. Bye-bye, everybody.